All right, this is the Chapter 6 review. Your test is this Wednesday, I believe. So on this first one, the first thing I notice is I've got c to the 0. Anything to the 0 power is 1. I'm going to have to take that d to the negative 6 and move it down to the denominator. When it gets moved, it becomes positive. Leave the 3 alone. It actually has an exponent of 1. So your answer is going to be 3 over d to the 6. On number 2, the first thing I did was I reduced my fractions. The 9 and the 3 are coefficients. Don't treat them like exponents. You treat them just like regular old numbers. 9 over 3 is 3 over 1. The r to the negative 9 is the only thing with a negative exponent, and that's the only thing you're going to be moving down to the denominator. Leave the t to the 4th where it's at, because it is fine. On number 3, you're multiplying and you've got the same base, so keep the base as b. Negative 9 plus 6 is negative 3. And again, we don't want to have negative exponents, so you're going to take that negative 3 and move it down into the denominator. Be careful on number 4 because your base is 3. And every once in a while, students have a tendency to want to multiply that 3 times 3. The base stays 3. Add your exponents, 4 and negative 6, and you get negative 2, which is 1 over 3 squared, which is 1 over 9. On number 5, you're going to want to apply that exponent of 5 to everything out in the denominator, or out in the parentheses. So that's negative 2 to the 5th and 4 to the 5th. X to the 4 to the 5th is a power of a power, so you're going to multiply your exponents. Negative 2 to the 5th is negative 2 times itself 5 times, which gives you negative 32. 4 times 5 gives you 20, so you've got x to the 20, so negative 32, x to the 20. Number 6 is the same concept. It's really a power of a power, but our powers inside the parentheses are 1, so it's going to be negative 3 to the 3rd and y to the 3rd. Negative 3 to the 3rd is negative 27. So there's my final answer there. On number 7, there's a couple things going on. First thing I notice is my negative exponents. So I'm going to take that 3 to the negative 2, move it down to the denominator. I'm going to flip it. I have the same base of 8. I could go ahead and move that x to the 8 up and then multiply them. But I notice, hey, I've already dividing. I'm just going to subtract. 5 minus negative 8 gives me 13. Be careful of your signs there. That's very easy to make a mistake. The best way to answer that one would be x to the 13 over 9. On number 8, we're going to take that 4 to the negative 3 and move it down. V to the 0 is really 1. We have the same base of w. The exponent, if nothing's there, it's 1. 1 minus negative 3 gives me 4. So I'm going to get w to the 4th over 64. And that would be my final answer. On number 9, we've got a lot more going on here. On that one, we've got a power of power, and that's what I'm going to do first. So I need to apply it to the 2, to the a, and to the b. That's where that 2 squared, a to the 4th, b squared comes from. And then this one, right here, I just left that alone for a second. 2 to the 2nd gives me 4. A to the 4th times a to the 4th is a to the 8. B squared times b squared is b to the 4th. Final answer. On number 10, I'm going to take that exponent of 4 and apply it to everything in the parentheses. 4 to the 4, r to the 8, t to the 20. I'm going to leave this alone for a second. Now I'm going to multiply those two factors. 4 to the 4th is 256. R to the 8 times r to the 3rd is r to the 11. T to the 20 times t to the 4 is t to the 24. On number 11, take that negative 3 and apply it to everything inside the parentheses, including the 2. So I get 1 to the negative 3, 2 to the negative 3, x to the negative 6. Everything on this one needs to be flipped because everything is a negative exponent. You could put this all over 1, but you don't really need to. And my final answer would be 8x to the 6. On number 12, I went ahead and I simplified what was in the parentheses first. Because I've got a's and b's, I subtracted my exponents. 2 minus 1 gives me 1. 4 minus negative 2 gives me 6. Then I applied my power of a power and got a to the 2, b to the 12. On number 13, you're looking for a number times itself 3 times. So and what's that going to equal? So the first one is negative 3 because negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3 is negative 27. You can have an odd index and have a negative or a positive on the inside. On this one though, the negative is on the outside, so it's going to make that negative answer no matter what. On number 14, my index is 4, so that's what goes on that little number outside the radical. My base is 625, and I'm raising it to the 5th power. If you don't know how to do that, you could always use a calculator. Let's see if I can bring mine up real quick. And do a factor tree on that, and you get 5 to the 5th. It's going to give me 3,125. And number 15, that's going to be the 5th root of 243 raised to the 7th. Negative 3 to the 7th, and you can go from there. All right, on number 15, we can set that up, but I also want to do that one on the calculator here. So I have a parenthesis, 243, it's negative. Sometimes on your calculators, you might have to put the negative in first, and I'm raising that to the 7 fifths. 7 fifths is the same as dividing. So on the one that I have here on my computer, that would just be 7 divided by 5. I think on the blue and the yellow calculators, you can go ahead and put it in as a fraction, and you get negative 2187. All right, number 16, you have to say whether it's linear or exponential. Make sure that you show some sort of work or document your thinking about why. And I did it very minimally here. Probably should have shown each one was going up by 5, so that's linear because it's plus 5. Here, you're multiplying by 0.5, so that is exponential. If you're multiplying, it's exponential. If you're adding or subtracting, it's linear. This is just going to be calculator work. And again, we can bring up our calculator. 4 to the 3rd gives me 64. On number 19, that one's a little bit trickier, but not much. It's just 0.2. Raise that to a power of negative 4, and I get 625. All right, on 20, we're graphing. Your x's, always choose negative 1, 0, 1. Use your calculator to help you out. 2 to the negative 1, and then multiply that by 3, and I get 1. I forgot to do the negative in front of the 3, but that would be negative No, it would be 1.5. Put 0 in there, you can get -3. If I put 1 in there, 2 to the 1 times, let's remember our negative this time, -6. So go ahead and graph that. -1 down 1.5. Gonna have to kind of estimate. 0, 3. Oops, I think I'm off there. They're counting by twos. And 1, 6. We're going to get really close to that x-axis, but don't go through it. My domain is going to be all real numbers. That's not going to change. If you noticed on my range, all my y's are negative, so y is less than 0. All right, let's go ahead and do the second one of number 20. And on that one, we're just going to put it in the calculator. 0.75. Raise that to the -1. And then multiply that by 4. And I get 5.3. If I put 0 in there, I'm going to get 4. If I put 1 in there, I should get 3. Let's double check that though. 0.75. Raise that to the 1 times 4. I get 3. So let's go ahead and graph that. -1 is 5.3. And again, you're just going to have to estimate. 0, 4, 1, 3. And again, I'm going to get really close to the x-axis, go down, but don't cross it. And here, all my y's are positive, so my domain is y is greater than 0. All right, on this one, we are doing our word problems. What will the account balance be after 4 years? Well, we're starting with 200. You're earning 5%, so that's 0.05 to the fourth. Well, if I add that together, I'm going to get 1.05, so let's put that into the calculator. 1 plus 0.05, and then raise that to the fourth times 200. And I get $243.10. So that is how much is in my bank account after 4 years. And then it says how much interest was earned. Well, how much money did I make? Take that $243.10 and you subtract 243 or 200 because that's what we started with, and you get $43.10. So that's how much money I made. All right, on this one, the keyword is decreases, and 10% is 0.1. You move that decimal over 2 places. So let's go ahead and it's going to be calculator work. 1 minus 0.1, and I'm going to raise that to the 3.5, and then multiply that by 35.99. And that's going to be 2,489. And then after 10 years, you're going to do the same process, but instead of t equals 3.5, t is 10. So let's bring up our calculator again. 0.9 to the 10th times 35.99, and I get 1,254. Let's round that to 55. All right, good luck on your test.